The Ambitious Radio Network. Conversations with ambitious entrepreneurs and thought leaders. Are you an entrepreneur, startup junkie, or just someone interested in improving their leadership skills? If you're looking to be motivated, inspired, and uncover what it takes to get to the next level, listening to Ambitious Radio will be well worth the investment of your time. We have weekly engaging conversations with today's most influential thought leaders and entrepreneurs as they discuss their successes, failures, tipping points, and other priceless information that you can apply immediately after listening. Now, here's your host, Doug Parker.
All right, welcome back to Ambitious Radio. This is your host, Doug Parker, and today we have a live one with us. We've got Justin Ledford, and Justin is an all-around entrepreneur. He's a published author. He's a public speaker on personal growth. I mean, this guy really is a major success. He's helped many, many people, and really, he's done a couple things. He's built businesses, 4 different businesses that are passive income earners in multi-million-dollar industries, all before the age of 30. And really, one of the most important things he's done is really to help inspire others, uncover their inner greatness. Justin, welcome to the show, bud. How are you?
I'm doing amazing, Doug. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yes, sir, man. I've really enjoyed kind of getting to know you in the last few weeks as we've kind of talked about having you on the show and the kind of the show prep and before. And, you know, you've really accomplished a lot, but tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that I heard you, saying your wife's name's Sarah just a minute ago. So, I mean, obviously you're a married guy, but tell us just a little bit about your background, where you grew up and who you are.
All right. Well, I'm from Houston, Texas, and I grew up in a little town called Friendswood. I played football and baseball. I was like a great athlete. My dreams were to make it pro, but, after high school, I realized I had to start paying bills. So I got into selling something called Cutco knives at the age of 18, and it was the first time ever that I could create my own, income. Before I was painting, I was mowing, just hustling, trying to make some money for food and gas and all that stuff. But when I got to Cutco, I realized that I could literally set big goals and then go out and achieve those goals. And from there, I broke a ton of records. I've been the #1 producer in Houston for over 11 years now. And since then, my wife and I were about to have our first baby. We got a girl coming in April. And we bought some land in Costa Rica. One day we were going to retire there.
Puerto Vida,
it's up at Puerto Vida. Yeah, it's up at the top of the mountain. We're literally looking down into the clouds. I love surfing, fishing. I free dive. That's something crazy you didn't know about me. I dive. I slow down my breath, and then I dive. I've got to about 50 feet. And it's just crazy what happens. I'd be happy to share what happens once you get past 40 feet if you want. I just love having fun, man, and I love to just share what I've learned with others so that way they can benefit and just live an incredible life themselves.
Man, that is really some great stuff. So let's talk about that. I mean, I've seen some stuff on that free diving before, but what you say, something significant happens after 40 feet?
Yeah, so we all have something called the master switch of life. And we forgot about it because we don't free dive anymore. Most people don't. But once you get past 20 feet, your lungs start to go inward. All your blood and everything starts to go into your heart and your lungs. It preserves, yourself, and everything becomes pressurized. You have to do a specific technique. And once you go further and further at 40 feet, anti-gravity takes into effect. Every 10 feet or so, the temperature drops even more and more. And then once you get to 40 feet, that's when there's no more gravity. And you start to get sucked down to the bottom. And it's a really crazy, cool feeling. We went to Cabo not too long ago, and we went down to about 50 feet. And it's a practice. It's just like working out. The more you do it, the better you get. My goal this year is 100 feet. People think that's, dangerous and scary and all that. But with anything, you have to practice and you have to learn the techniques that the pros do. And that's just a lesson for anybody listening. If you want to do something great, there's probably somebody else who's done what you want to do. So you can learn from them. And that's what I've done with freediving. And yeah, it's just awesome.
That's kind of crazy cool. You talk about, now how long does it take you to go down to 40 or 50 feet?
Within less than 10 seconds, 15 seconds, you're down there. I mean, the first 5, 6, 7, 8, you're getting down. But then once you get past 20, you can start to feel the tug of the ocean floor. And then at 40, you're down there maybe in, 20, 25 seconds or so. And it's just a beautiful view. I mean, it's a whole nother world down there. Something we don't get to see every day.
Yeah.
And it's like one of my hobbies, that and snowboarding and, anything extreme, but we have our limits.
Absolutely. Well, now you also mentioned, you got a little girl on the way now. So interestingly enough, I'm kind of on the other end of the dynamic. My kids are grown, but we have a granddaughter that is on the way. She's due on March 27th or something like that. So we're probably within a few weeks of where you guys are having a grandkid. But
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
It's cool stuff, man. It really is. So now, obviously all that extreme stuff, it's one thing when you're a single guy. It's another thing, when you get married. It's a whole nother thing whenever you start having kids. But the free diving thing, it doesn't sound like that's terribly, terribly dangerous as long as, you're following those procedures. I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking it doesn't sound like it's like skydiving or, like riding a motorcycle 500 miles an hour or something.
Right. I mean, there's people literally to this day, believe it or not, that you can hold their breaths 7, 8, 9 minutes and they go down several hundred feet. I'm not looking for any competition. I'm looking for the serenity, the peace, the beauty, the glory of God's creation, down under the sea. So I'm not like pushing myself is what I'm saying. So yeah, it is safe if you learn those techniques.
Sure. Now, we talked about, you've been in a couple different industries and you've done the Cutco stuff. I know you've done some other direct sales things and you have a construction company. So let's talk just for a minute about obstacles, did you choose to do these different industries because you had obstacles and you changed? Was it just adding additional streams of income? And, what obstacles, if any, have you encountered and how did you persevere through those?
Yeah, well, in direct sales, selling Cutco, I figured, okay, if I can do this, I can do anything in direct sales. So then I went into network marketing and did amazing in that, made it to the top and still do that. And then also I was looking for something I could build and I could teach people and build a team, but not network marketing. So we started a construction company and it's basically roofing. And, we do amazing here in Houston in that industry. There's a lot of obstacles that come in that industry. People, you can't please everybody. And sometimes you have people who get upset and, you have to go there and fix it. I've learned more from construction and I've grown more from that business than any other business I've been a part of. And, thinking, okay, I'm in construction, but I specialized in roofing. I decided one day, okay, I'm going to get into real estate. And this was one of my worst moments of my life. It made me have a pain in my stomach just talking about it. I didn't get a mentor and I tried to start flipping houses. We had 3 of them. We were doing pretty good on the first couple. We'd made some good money, but then I started getting bigger projects and houses around 300,000 to 400,000. Market tanked here in Houston and I lost big time. I mean, I literally lost over $100,000. I lost an incredible investor and I walked away with my tail between my legs and I was, all excited about it, but I realized if I'm going to do something, I need to learn from a professional, somebody who's doing it and doing amazing. And that's just I say the tip again, if you want to do something great, follow somebody who's already done it, because they will save you so much time and frustration. Now, as far as, writing a book goes, I wrote a best-selling book and there was a lot of obstacles that came my way. But, I thought I wasn't a good writer. I thought it would take forever. And I just decided to just do it. I learned from different coaches, different self-publishing, best-selling authors, and I learned from them. They were my mentors. And boom, 90 days later, I had a best-selling book. If somebody can, my favorite things, if somebody can do something great, then you can do it just as great. A solid work ethic with goals attached, it's going to go much further than somebody who wishes and hopes and dreams. And having a genuine level of excitement and authenticity, these are the things that all human beings have access to. These are principles that are most important, having genuine level of excitement and authenticity in any business or in any sector of your life, no matter what you're doing. When you're passionate and you're excited and you have authenticity, people can feel that. and people are attracted to that.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And as we're kind of nearing the end of this segment, I always kind of like to ask folks, I know you've got your books, and we're going to actually get into that self-publishing and some of those things in a later segment. But in addition to your books, are there any other books that you recommend or really have enjoyed reading over the years?
Absolutely. There's an amazing book called The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol. It's a short read, straight to the point, in a very story-driven way about visualization and meditation, and it was written in the 40s. Another great book is Smart Cuts. It's written I think 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know who it's by, but it's an awesome book. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and obviously The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. That's one of my all-time favorite books.
Those are all great, and what I love about this program is I always there's some reoccurring books. The Think and Grow Rich and The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Those ones that have come up before, and it's good to have those reinforced. But then it's always good to have something new. So this Smart Cuts, I look forward to seeing what that's all about, and then also the Magic of Believing. So great information. And guys, as always, if you're listening today, you're driving down the road, whatever the case is, and you want to go back and reference something from the show, you can go to ambitiousradio.com. You can check out our show notes page. You just punch in the person's name in there, Justin Ledford, on this episode, and we'll be right back after a break from our sponsors and right here on the Ambitious Radio Network.
Could you lose your career because of your faith? Could your pastor be sued because of his sermons? Can students and teachers be punished because of what they believe about God or what they say? Can the government or even your employer force you to violate your beliefs? Get the answers, and if necessary, legal protection from First Liberty Institute. This is Kelly Shackelford, president of First Liberty. We're the nation's largest legal organization dedicated exclusively to restoring religious freedom in America. In fact, First Liberty's nationwide network of top attorneys win over 90% of their cases. We've won at the Supreme Court all the way down to the local schools. Visit firstliberty.org to learn more about how First Liberty is protecting religious freedom for all Americans in the workplace, public schools, your church, the military, and more. That's firstliberty.org.
All right, we're back on the Ambitious Radio Network, and we appreciate our sponsors for being there for us. We couldn't do the show without them, and today we've got Justin Ledford on the show. And Justin, you're a very interesting guy. You do a lot of cool stuff, and you've got the Self-Publishing Pro. You've got the 4 phases of visualizations you're going through, and what I like to do is just to talk to you. I know you've got the traditional businesses and some other streams of income as well, but how is it that you're generating revenue from these other businesses, and kind of what do you see the future of them? How they go with the self-publishing?
Okay, so as far as how am I generating income with self-publishing or my other businesses?
Well, with the self-publishing for right now, let's talk about that just a little bit.
Okay, so my book, it's awesome. Well, obviously I'm going to say that, but Amazon, back in the day, it used to be you had to get a publisher. Same with the music industry, and things have changed dramatically. And today, anyone can write a book and put it on Amazon and tap into a huge ecosystem of literally billions and billions of buyers. And if you know how to do it right, and picking the right title, the subtitle, categories, keywords, if you know how to do all that right, you can make a nice passive income out of it. So when I started this journey, I wanted to write about visualization and meditation, because that's something that I've been doing for the last 11 years of my life. And it's helped me a lot. Like, I'm a high-strung kind of guy. Honestly, I'm like, go, 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 go. But when I learned about visualization over 10 years ago in meditation, it brought my levels of anxiety down. It made me calm, collected, relaxed. It enabled me to see my ideal outcomes. So, people can write a book for a couple different reasons. They can write a book because it's a passion project of theirs, and they're going to make the content really good in that book. They can write a book For another reason, like they just want to build an authority in themselves and establish a more powerful network. Another one is they just want to make money straight up. That's all they care about. And there's no wrong answer why you'd write a book. For me, I wrote Visions to the Top because it's truly a passion project of mine. Like I love what it's done for me, and I think everybody should visualize. I mean, if Michael Phelps does it before every single night and every single morning, his coach taught him to play the track right when you wake up and right when you go to bed. And what he's saying is visualize yourself on that podium, putting your goggles on, feeling the elastic go around your head, see yourself shaking your arms out, feel the stroke of the water. And Michael Phelps would do this. He's been doing it for years and years. Same with Tony Robbins and Arnold Schwarzenegger, even Oprah. I mean, they all have this in common, visualization. So for me, it was a passion project why I wrote this book, because I believe everybody should tap into this. And it's awesome, man. I fortunately learned from some of the best self-published authors out there. I've coached and mentored under them. And my book is doing phenomenal. It's I teach the 4 phases of visualization. It's just a simple technique that anybody can do 5 to 10 minutes a day, maybe even more, maybe even less, just depending on your busy life. But it's a simple 4-strategy technique that if you do, it makes you calm, relaxed. It allows you to see what you dream and what you intend. Because what happens, we get stuck in this race, this endless race. We work, we go to lunch, we go back to work, we get stuck in traffic, and then turn on the TV, and then we go to bed and we do it all over again. And we forget to start living our dreams, or we forget about our dreams that we once had. And I also teach something called the dream list method. It didn't come from me. It came from a guy named Matthew Kelly. But it basically shows people how they can write down all their dreams, from their intellectual dreams, their spiritual, their emotional, their financial, and so many other categories that I mentioned inside the book. I basically give most of it away for free on visionstothetop.com, so people can go there and just check it out and get a lot of free content for the book. But the book is doing amazing, man. Like, the first month it made over $1,500. Second month it made around $2,000. Third month it made a little less than $2,000. And every month after that, it's made anywhere, depending on how hard I'm pushing it, steadily it's made over $500 a month every month. So that's just a great source of passive income. Now, as far as go ahead.
Well, let's talk about that for just a minute. So, and I'm a little bit uneducated on the self-publishing, and so in my mind I'm thinking, I never really paid that much attention to authors. I mean, I'm thinking if you talk to a published author, the ones that are maybe the traditional guys, like we had Andy Andrews on the show and some of those guys, and they've sold, whatever, how many millions of dollars of books. I'm thinking they're probably making millions of dollars. Now, I could be wrong on that. I don't know, but that's what I'm thinking. Maybe you make $1 or $2 a book or something like that as your net and millions. But I really like, what you're talking about here is when you're throwing out those numbers, those aren't necessarily, like the kind of numbers that, you go to your boss and you're like, hey, I'm quitting. Have a nice day. Bye. But when you talked about a nice passive income, there's almost nobody out there that if they had an extra $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 a month coming in, that's nothing to sneeze at. It may not be mega millions, but you're saying by this self-publishing and putting that out there, for you, it has earned a steady source of that, $300, $400, $500, $2,000 a month consistently for quite some time, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, what I learned from these mentors and other best-selling authors, I mean, there's people who've been in the game longer than I have, and people making anywhere from $5,000 a month to upwards to over $50,000 a month that I know personally because they have multiple books. I currently only have one book. But when I did the mind map outline exercise, I'm happy to share with your audience what that is. It literally, the first time I did it, I was able to create a book idea and then put it in an outline. Within 20 minutes, I had my book like ready to go. Obviously, just the outline. What you do is you just grab out a piece of paper, you put your timer on your phone for 12, maybe 15 minutes. I like to do it for 12 minutes. And you think of something you're passionate about. What would you write a book about? What's something that you love to talk about? What's something that you know a lot of information around? And you put that in the very center. You write it, put a big circle around it. And then you just go hard for that 12 minutes, and every single idea that comes out of your mind, if from a TED talk or from a YouTube video or from your past experience, you just start writing, boom, boom. Next thing you know, you got like 30 ideas on a piece of paper. It's all scattered. It doesn't look good. But what happens is once that timer goes off, if you're still flowing, you're feeling great, you're writing down a bunch of ideas, just brain dump everything onto your piece of paper. What'll happen is you'll be like, dang, this is more than one book. And after I did that, there's when you do the outline example, it's another 12 minutes where you take that piece of paper, you put your timer on for 12 minutes. The reason is because there's something called Parkinson's law, and the amount of time you give a task will swell in proportion. Like all of a sudden your kid gets sick and you got to go pick them up soon, and you can get all your work done in a matter of less than an hour because you had to focus, like a laser focus, like instead of a flashlight, where that laser focus gets it done. So back to the outline, I set it all up and I realized that I had 3 more books just from that one exercise. And I have 3 more books that I'm going to write. I'd like to write at least 1 book a year, and that's our goal. Think about it. $500 from one book, $300 a month, another $800 a month from another book. And it's something that you can do really simply. You can actually speak into your computer and it'll type it for you. You have your outline in your hand. Basically, you organize that first mind map. You see what goes here, what looks good there. You get rid of this, get rid of that. And you can literally open up Google Drive, or there's other softwares, and you can speak that outline. And you have from that thousands and thousands of words, and then you go back and add filler, just speaking it. So I literally wrote, I didn't do very good in English in high school nor college. I dropped out of college because of English. But if I could, end up writing a best-selling book it took me 2.5 weeks to actually transcribe that book and write it, because I did the thing that I'm talking about where I talked into my phone or I talked into my computer. 2.5 weeks. And I had a book, and, obviously I'm still running my full-time businesses, but it's just awesome, man. Like the experience that it's given me. More importantly, the opportunities, like being able to travel, people reach out to me. You reached out to me, other people reach out to me, and I'm just getting to share, jewels of nuggets of wisdom of, from my life experience. I believe everybody has a best-selling book in them. We just have to have a roadmap on how to pull it out.
No, that's really great stuff. And now, when you talk about being a published author and being a best-selling author, now are these books that are like hardcover? Or so, I mean, are they just digital? I mean, I'm just out of curiosity, because it sounds to me like this process is pretty efficient. You got put together.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. I always teach people how, first and foremost, to write their book, and then we show them how to get a professional editor for like next to nothing, like super inexpensive. And I'm not a good writer, but I gave it to my editor, and she made it into a masterpiece. Like, she made the book incredible. And then from there, you put it on Kindle, and there's people making bank rolls off of 99-cent books. My book, I started it for free. You have to know how to put it in the system right. You have so many days where it can be free, and if you know how to do that, it's amazing what will happen. Thousands and thousands of people will download your book, and you'll get Amazon juice behind you, because Amazon will see that it's popular. And then from there, you bump it up to 99 cents, and it's immediately put to bestseller status because all that Amazon juice prior. And then from there, it's at the top of the charts. And what happens when it's at the top of the charts? Boom. Everybody sees it. Amazon starts sending them emails about it. Then you bump it up to $1.99 and $2.99, and you make anywhere from 35 to 70%. And it's awesome, man. Like my book, Visions to the Top, I've done probably 15 podcasts, and I always reference, why it's important to write a book and how to do visualization. And people who are interested in meditation and visualization and want to have more peace and tranquility and, clarity about their goals and stuff, they go and pick up the book at visionstotopbook.com, and the book sales just keep coming in. So yes, we start with Kindle, and then from there we show people how to put it into a hardback copy, because there's people who are late adopters. They don't want to ever get a Kindle. Like there's some people who still have the old flip phone, right? Mm-hmm. Well, there's still people who are never going to get a Kindle platform, but they want to read a book in their hands. And then from there, we teach people how, after a certain amount of time, you put it into an Audible. So right now it's in iTunes and Audible and a hardback copy and a Kindle copy, and there's several other platforms that you can put it in. And I mean, the internet is like the Matrix. It's like a spider web. And who knows how many thousands of people is going to hear this audio. Imagine some of them are going to want to learn how to do visualization. And, 5 years from now, the sales just keep trickling in. It's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. That's one of the things I do have on my list right now is to write a book, and I've got some ideas, some things I've been processing through, and this could absolutely line up, for that. Now, in one of the breaks, we were talking a little bit about how someone, if they were interested in this, how they would go about signing up for the program or publishing their own book. So, what we'll do is we'll put a link in our show notes. But what was the link again for your website?
For my book, to get the couple chapters for free, or for the self-publishing pro?
Well, let's talk about both of those. So let's talk about your book first, and then we'll go into the self-publishing, because I know it was like /ambitious. But what we just let's talk about your book first, and then we'll transition to that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, visionstothetop.com, you can get some, like a bunch of stuff, like chapters for free, and just to see if you like it. But if you're into meditation and visualization, the power of positive thinking, and you just want an awesome read, you can go to visionstothetopbook.com. So the only difference is, the word book. Now, as far as self-publishing.com, it's just selfpublishingpro.com /ambitious. And what I've put together is a 4 training series, video training series, where I literally teach you how to write a book. You get 1 email a day, and in day 1, it teaches you how to, pick your book. Day 2, it shows you how to write it with, very easily, like those tactics I was teaching. Day 3, how to get it edited the best way. And day 4, how to launch it the correct way. Because a lot of times there's authors out there that spend all their time, energy, and effort, and then they launch their book and they don't make a dime. So it's selfpublishingpro.com /ambitious. I don't know if we have time for the story of why this happened to me and why I decided to write this book, but I'd be happy to share that if we do have that time.
Yeah, let's do it, because here's what we're going to do, and those of you that are hearing this right now, it's because you're listening to it on the podcast. So on the radio, we have a limited amount of bandwidth of time that we can use, but as we always recommend, it's kind of the show after the show where you can get the full uncut version on the podcast. So yeah, let's jump into that real quick and tell us why you did it.
Yeah, so 1 year, actually last January 2016, December 2016, 15. My wife and I, we went to Nueva Vallarta, and we wanted to just kind of reflect. We take our honeymoon at the anniversary at the end of the year. Our anniversary is on December 31st, so it's always magical. It's awesome. If you're not married yet, get married on December 31st. It's like the best. So we were in Nueva Vallarta. My wife's like, "Hey, let's go to the market." We're walking through the market, and these people, they're really trying to get their daily bread. They're trying to sell silver and hats and shirts and everything under the sun. They're just trying to make a living and make sales. And I'm in sales. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner, and I know how that feels. Whether you would like to admit it or not, sales solve all problems. They always solve all problems. So I was thinking to myself, dang, man, I'm going to go back home, and I'm going to keep having to go out and make sales. I'm going to keep having to train people on how to make sales. I need to figure something out where I can do it once, and it'll just keep paying me month after month after month. And at that moment in time, my buddy Hal Elrod, who wrote The Miracle Morning, which is another one of my favorite books, I watched him go from like depressed, almost foreclosing on his house, to, changing his lifestyle and writing a book called The Miracle Morning. And a couple years forward, he's out of his debt. Several years forward, 10 years later, he's making serious income from that book. Everything starts with a person taking action. So I said, I'm going to write a book. I don't know how, but I'm going to get my mentors. I'm going to find people, and boom, literally I started training. And once I decided to do it, 2.5 weeks later, I had a book, and it's been paying me ever since, over 8 months now, every single month.
Man, that is an amazing story. And again, guys, the things about wealthy people is number one, they make money on a consistent basis, no question about it. But they also are careful about how they spend their money. But when you've got mailbox money that's coming in month after month after month, and you're not having to do additional work to get that to come in, that is a way that it starts compounding. And, I talk a lot about, Darren Hardy's book, The Compound Effect. And that's another way. I mean, if you just take that money and keep socking it away, it's amazing how it can really, really change things. So great information from a very ambitious person here. And if you like what you're hearing, you can text by subscribing ambitious to 69922. That's ambitious to 69922. Standard messaging rates apply. See the website for full details. Next we'll be talking more to Justin about what Ambitious thinks he's doing now and really what's next on the horizon and how he does that right here on the Ambitious Radio Network.
Another RepairMyCreditNow.com story.
It's a day this family had dreamed of for quite some time. They were finally getting that brand new SUV. The salesperson at the auto dealership gave them the keys and told them to take it for the weekend. He'd prepared the documents and called them Monday morning. The kids had already installed the headrest DVD when the phone rang. Seems there was a problem with their credit they were unaware of. They'd have to return the SUV to the dealership immediately. Embarrassing, to say the least.
www.repairmycreditnow.com.
Hello, this is Doug Parker with RepairMyCreditNow.com. Do you have less than perfect credit, a repo, maybe some late payments, a collection account? Are they being reported accurately? Studies show that over 70% of Americans have inaccuracies on their credit reports. Where do you fit in? Go to RepairMyCreditNow.com for your free credit report evaluation. And remember, your credit is your future. If you want to get started now, log on now. RepairMyCreditNow.com.
RepairMyCreditNow.com. www.repairmycreditnow.com.
All right, we're back on the Ambitious Radio Network, and this is your host, Doug Parker, and today we got Justin Ledford with us. And I'll tell you what, as I always do, because these guests are just really, really good, I always learn a lot of stuff. I'm scrabbling, scratching stuff down on a piece of paper while I'm trying to do the interview because I'm learning while I'm doing it. And, one of the things that we passed up a little bit on the last a part of the episode was the 4 phases of visualization. And, typically in the third segment, we talk about what's next and what's going on. So I would love to jump in. Let's talk about these 4 phases of visualization and how you use it to progress through and use it, for vision and the studies that surround that.
Yeah, visualization, it's nothing new. People have been using it back from the oldest times of the past. I mean, the prophets of the past used to do it in meditation. And, if you go back several years, there was a Russian scientist. They actually wanted to see if visualization really does work. And what they did is they gathered 4 groups of Olympic athletes. And each group had a different combination of mental and physical training schedules that these scientists wanted them to do. The results were really just mind-blowing. And so group 1, they had them, before swimming, they had them do just literally 100% physical training only. Group 2, they made them do 25% physical training. 75% physical training and 25% mental training. So their eyes were closed. They had them with their spine erect, and they had them seeing themselves swimming, feeling the water flow off their back, feeling them touch the wall and push and jump out of the water, winning first place. Group 3, they made them do 50% physical training and 50% mental training. And group 4, they made them do only 25% physical training and 75% mental training. So I want to ask you, Doug, which group do you think performed best at the following Olympics that year?
Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb, and because I haven't seen a study myself, I'm gonna probably say it's the one that did the more visualization.
Yes, you did it. You got it right, dude. You picked group 4. Group 4. You're absolutely correct. These scientists, they found that group 4 performed best during the Olympics, and the USA Olympic Committee was so impressed by these results that they actually increased their full-time staff of psychologists. They actually have over a dozen now. They did the same study at a university where they made a group of basketball players, 3 different groups. They made one group go out and practice, I believe it's for an hour a day. The other group, they didn't do any practicing nor mental rehearsal, and then none at all. And then group 3, they made them just do mental rehearsal aka visualization. No practicing, just mental rehearsal only. And surprisingly enough, the same results came back. The people who did, obviously, who practiced, they were, I don't remember the exact number, but it was like, I think 20% better than once they were originally. The people who didn't do any practice nor visualization weren't any better, obviously. But the last group who did just visualization or mental rehearsal, where they felt the ball, they saw themselves dribbling, they could hear it, they tapped into their senses, they could see with their eyes closed, holding onto the ball, shooting it, and hearing the swish. They ended up doing better than the other two groups. And it's a very powerful tool if you utilize it, because the brain cannot tell a difference when you do this practice. Your brain, your subconscious and conscious mind, your subconscious is actually in control of everything. And your conscious is like, just, okay, at the beginning of the year, you say, okay, I want to start working out. But what happens is your subconscious mind, maybe you don't work out, it starts to whisper in your ear. Your subconscious wants to keep you comfortable. It tells you, no, you don't want to do that. That's going to be difficult. Just lay in bed. Your subconscious mind, if you do rewire it, and visualization is one of the most powerful tools to rewire your subconscious, that will allow you to do the things sometimes that you don't want to do, but the things that will get you the results that you want. And so for the 4 phases of visualization, I'm happy to share it with your group. If you want, I can do it now.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's jump into that.
Okay, so you obviously don't want to do this when you're driving or when you're operating any vehicles or machinery. You want to do this in a place where, like for me, I wake up in the morning, I say my prayer, and then I sit, spine erect, and phase 1 is where you do your inward breathing. You focus on just going into a quiet place, and you calm yourself through breathing, sitting, you're relaxed. You take deep inhales, deep breaths, and you calm your mind, you calm your heart, you just relax, and your eyes are closed. You're inhaling deeply. What's happening is you inhale through your nose. You're filling your vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve connects your whole body. It runs past your heart, through your lungs, all the way down your body. And when you exhale as if you're fogging up a mirror. Inhale through the nose, exhale as if you're fogging up a mirror. And what happens is you feel a sensation. You start to get a little lightheaded. It feels good. It can last, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, however long. For me, it's only like a minute or so. However long you want to do it. And then we go to phase 2. This is called past visions. What we're doing here, before I explain, is you're priming your mind to be ready for the future visions, which is the next stage. Past visions, your eyes are still closed. And some people, they can actually see visions kind of foggy. They can actually see their past memories. They can see that moment when they hit a home run, or when if they're female, they won a competition for dance or basketball or soccer. They can see that moment when they're, riding their bike for the first time. They tap into past moments of positive accomplishment. Moments, and you want to run through several of these happy moments of your past while you continue doing the phase 1 breathing. These moments, they can be anything that brought you joy, from your past, from when you were a kid to when you were a young, adolescent, to when you were a teenager, hitting your past goals, a fun adventure, a passionate moment with your spouse. And you literally are priming your mind to believe in yourself, because you can't just jump into visualization right into, seeing your future. It's almost impossible because your mind is not ready for it. So you have to prime your mind before you jump into it. Then we go into, once your mind is primed and ready, that might last 2 minutes, 5 minutes. I find I have on my phone, I just type in Gladiator on YouTube, and I listen to the Gladiator theme song with no words. And it makes my hair stand up on my arm when I'm doing past visions. I've actually cried from tapping into those powerful, positive past accomplishments and moments in my life. And that music, whatever the music you decide to play with no words or no music at all, it really helps to set your physiology. And then when you're ready, you jump into future visions. Future visions are where your eyes are still closed, except now you're tapping into more mental imagery from the past to your future dreams. So visually see what you want to happen in your day. Don't see the details, just see the outcome. Again, I'll say that again. Do not see the details, see the outcome that you intend, the best outcome possible. So if you're in sales, see yourself, holding the contract and you feel happy. If you're a business owner, your people are happy and they're bringing in deals, or whatever your most desired outcome is for that day that will generate something good for you. And these future moments, they can be anything that you're excited about, not just business. So I'll focus on my day, and then I'll focus on, like a week later, and my health, my wife, us hugging, we're really, really, really happy. Some adventurous moment that I plan on doing in the next couple months, whether it's diving or water, going down a river or rock climbing or snowboarding. Tap into those future moments that you're excited about. And go up on that stage as if you're the number one guy or number one girl. Tap into the ideal outcome that you want. What do you hear? It's a multi-sensory endeavor. You can actually hear your friends clapping for you. What objects do you see? I can feel my wife's hand in my hand as we're standing up on stage or receiving the awards. What positive emotions do you feel internally at this moment? Do you feel loved? When people, imagine people are hugging you, feel that. You can tap into so much. The brain only accesses a little bit of what it's capable of. But when you do future visions, you can actually tap into more. And your heart and your brain are aligned. They're connected. And if you do this practice, it's amazing the amount of fulfillment and gratitude and how much better you'll feel. So that's future visions. And then there is stage 4. It's turning up the frequency. Now, this is something that I learned at a Tony Robbins seminar. You're still focused on your future visions, but as you're doing each vision, your eyes are still closed. Focus on those future visions and turn up your emotional dial. This is going to sound kind of strange, but just what I'm saying is turn up your emotional level, your physiology. Put a bigger smile on your face. If you're feeling grateful at a level 5, turn it up to a 6. And then a 7, and then an 8, and then all the way to a 10. Have a cheesy, happy feeling smile on your face just because you can. You can be as happy as you want. It's your choice. When you're doing this, you're literally rewiring your subconscious mind. And, feel those feelings of blessings. Feel those intensified feelings of a level 10. And when you match that frequency of the reality that you want, you cannot help but get that reality. Obviously, you have to go take action, of course. Although your eyes are still closed, your physiology should change when you're turning up your frequency. Have that huge smile on your face. Put your hands on your heart. Rock back and forth. Really turn up that dial. And then last is tap into the cosmos. Once you get into this phase, you're done with all your visualization. You're finishing up. You're just breathing. Your eyes are closed. And you continue doing the breathing from phase 1. You end your visions. You try to see nothing but black space. You feel only the vast, infinite space inside of yourself. You set your intention that you're ready to receive those blessings that you intended earlier. And what I do is I guide my spirit, and at that moment I do positive affirmations. I say, I'm ready to receive these dreams. How are these going to come into fruition? I'm grateful for what's coming my way. And I believe, like water finds the easiest path of resistance. When we do this, we're affirming our belief. I believe that there's a creator who created everything and that God has infinite power to do whatever we intend, as long as, we're willing to go put forth the effort. And I really like to practice this visualization every day. It might take 5 minutes. Sometimes it's even more, 10, 15 minutes. And I do it every day. The key is then write down your goals on a piece of paper or on your calendar and then take massive action. You have to take massive action, and you'll start to see the right people will come into your path. The right opportunities will show up. And some people call it the law of attraction. I'm not so much about that. I think it's just because like water flows the easiest path of resistance. Your thoughts are energetic. Your thoughts have power. Your thoughts are literally atoms, vibrations, molecules, protons, nucleus, neurons, all this, neutron, what I meant to say. And those powerful, positive, emotionally charged thoughts, they're like that water that's flowing into the infinite universe. And then when you are certain that you're going to get what you intend, and then you take massive action, what ends up happening? For me, the last 11 years, every single thing that I've put on my dream list and visualized for and took massive action for, I got every single thing that I intended.
Man, that is a good word, and ambitious times here, because you're talking about putting something in writing, taking massive action, and really just making it happen. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. And as you mentioned, whether you call it the law of attraction or whatever, if you're taking massive action towards something, other people see what you're doing. I mean, other than a few haters, the reality is that like-minded people tend to get together. They see what you're doing. You're seeing things from a different perspective. You talked about having a mentor and lining up, properly with other successful people. And when you start leveraging things like that, it is absolutely amazing what you can get accomplished. So we do have to take another brief break, and we'll hear a little bit from our sponsors. And we'll be right back with Justin and hear about really what he does to recharge his ambitious body, mind, and spirit right here on the Ambitious Radio Network. Hey, ambitious listeners, you hear us interviewing entrepreneurs all the time, and there's a common theme. They want to be more productive and improve their communication. As an ambitious entrepreneur, you're always on the go. So turn your mobile phone into a business phone system with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. The Ambitious Radio Network recently partnered with Grasshopper to offer our listeners a special discount. Log on to ambitiousradio.com and click on the Grasshopper banner in the bottom right-hand corner. Get a new business number or keep your current one. Sound professional with a main greeting and multiple extensions that forwards callers to your mobile phone or others in your organization. Get a toll-free number or local number for your business with multiple extensions. Set up each extension with custom call forwarding to any phone in the world. Get your voicemails emailed to you as an audio attachment or transcribe an email. Keep business calls separate from your personal calls. Plans start at $12 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Remember to click on the Grasshopper banner at ambitiousradio.com for a special discount for our listeners. Join the over 150,000 small business owners that have stayed connected with Grasshopper. See how Grasshopper works? It's the entrepreneur's phone system. Turn the world into your office. All right, we're back on the Ambitious Radio Network, and today we've been talking to Justin Ledford, and he's a published author, best-selling author, successful entrepreneur in many different businesses, and really he's just a guy that likes helping other people. He actually loves helping other people accomplish their goals. So let's just kind of wrap it up and talk about what you do to recharge your ambitious body, mind, and spirit. What is it what does your daily rhythm look like?
Every single day I wake up, and there's a book called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. And I got it on audiobook. I recommend everybody listen to this book because it really helps one to identify their good and bad habits. And we all have cues and rewards that we do habitually, unconsciously, without knowing for our good and bad habits. So I wake up, I stretch, and I smile while in bed, and that immediately sets me up to get up out of bed and go do my visualization, and then my prayer, and then my visualization. And then from there, my reward is a cup of coffee waiting for me downstairs. And I go down there, and then I read my scripture, my religious scripture. And then from there, I journal. Their book, The 5-Minute Journal, awesome, super cool. You got to get it if you don't have it. And then from there, I go straight to the gym. Because think about it, guys, it's mind, body, and spirit. It's not one or the other. We have to fulfill all three of them in order if we want to be living at our optimal potential. So I take care of my spirit in the morning, then I take care of my mind with the visualization and the reading and the journaling, and then my body straight to the gym. And it's not even 9 o'clock yet. And then bam, I'm done. I eat. I take care of my body again, something healthy, and then I just go hard on my task, whatever it is. And that's how I stay mentally charged. I also take vacations. I believe in the 3-month year. I set crazy big goals, and I accomplish those goals within 3 months instead of finding out, 10 months in the year that, man, I'm way behind or I don't even want to do this goal. I go hard on a goal, and I hit it within 3 months. I also take vacations every 3 to 6 weeks. And they don't have to be crazy, some exotic place. I'll just go to a friend's house in Arizona, or I'll go camping with my wife. I get into nature. I tap into, taking my shoes off and going outside and grounding myself in my backyard. I get my hands dirty in my garden, and I take out the roots and I reconnect. And while I'm doing that, I'm praying to my Creator, and it's just an exercise. There's so many different things. I have a dream board that I look at and I always revisit. I have a dream list that I teach in my book that really, once I did it like 3 years ago. I learned about it like 10 years ago, but I just said whatever. But then I did it, and my dreams have just like flown at me. I feel much more inspired having that. I have little positive, like, I enjoy the journey, I'm successful, little, things around my wall, in my house, in my bathroom, just little things, because our subconscious mind picks up on all that stuff. I don't watch much TV ever. I might watch a movie or something specific, but I don't think I don't think it's the best use of my time, and it doesn't keep me positive. I don't listen to much radio unless it's a podcast or something positive. The level at which we grow is the level at which our income grows and everything around us. So I'm always trying to feed my spirit and my intellect with something positive, because the more we grow, the more we can give, and the more we can give, the more we can receive. So those are some of the things that I do. And I like to have positive conversations, powerful conversations. One little tip, live your life in the front row. There's something called the Front Row Foundation, a guy named John Roman created, and he basically gives children or young adults or older adults a one-time opportunity right before they leave this earth. They're terminally ill, about to die. He gives them an opportunity to do something they've always wanted to do and live that moment in the front row of that experience. And I live that way in every single scenario. I go to the front row of each experience. And instead of sitting in the back and watching it happen, I get up in the front and I make it happen. The be, do, have mentality. Be the person that you need to become to achieve X, Y, or Z. Do the tasks that you need to do in order to get that goal. And then what's going to happen is you'll end up having that goal. It's just as simple as that. Those are some of the things, I learned at a young age, the simple reality check. The Social Security Administrator, they state that if you take 100 people, they did this study multiple times over the course of 40 years, they found that out of the 100 people who retired, only 1% retired wealthy. And, those people that 1% had enough money, had everything they wanted, good quality food. I mean, they were good. The other 4 out of the 100, they were financially in a good place. But they were feeling secure, they were safe for retirement. 5 of those people had to continue working their job later into their life. I'm not talking about working out of pleasure, but out of necessity to pay their bills. I was in the jewelry store the other day. This guy was 65 years old, and he was still working because he had to. That would suck. And this is all related to inspiration. 36 of those people of the 100 would be dead under, 6 feet underground, and 54 of them, they have no money, mooching off loved ones, friends, and family, getting the government to pay for everything. In terms of money is a tool that if we use, we can have whatever we want. Only 5% of Americans are considered financially free. It's statistically proven. The other 95% have to live in a hardship with struggles and difficulties their entire life. So we have to ask ourselves, what can we do to stay inspired? What can we do to have a greater life, not just now, but in the future? What actions must we do to guarantee that we don't end up like the vast majority of people? This 95%, those people they're going to live a life of hardship. So what I recommend everybody do is start to journal, start to read, write your dreams list down, start to visualize, and take action. You can have anything you want in this life. I'm living proof of it. I grew up in a divorced family. I grew up, with not much, sometimes no electricity, eating rice and noodles, and here I am today. If I can do it, everybody can do it. I'm living proof of it.
Man, I'll tell you what, I love all the things that you've thrown out because there's nothing that I've heard today. I mean, you're a very accomplished young man, but there's nothing that I've heard today that is like, oh man, Justin can do it, but man, I could never do that. Or, if someone's listening today, it's not like you got to go out and bench press a car or something. The things that you're saying are very practical. They are very logical. It's discipline, there's no question about it. You're not out there just, I hope I get lucky. I'm going to go make $1 million today. But you're disciplined, but it's very fundamentally sound and, it's simple. Now, that doesn't mean that it's easy, as we've all heard before, but it definitely is something that's very straightforward. Now, I know that you like to go to Costa Rica, and we got to wrap up the show here real quick, but you said you bought some land down there. So how often do you get a chance to go down to Costa Rica and recharge?
So I go down there at least once a year. I had on my dream board over 10 years ago to buy a piece of property in Costa Rica. And I wrote above the photo, I said, get a steal of a deal on my dream board. And I look at that photo every day on my dream board. And then I visualize and meditate on it. And we went back one year and we met with a realtor. He showed me a couple of deals and it was like, not so much. But then another realtor, we told him our budget. He showed us twice what our budget was. And remember how I said get a steal of a deal? He showed us $150,000+ properties. I went to him and said, okay, that property right there, I'll place an offer for it for $50,000. And he's like, no way, they're not going to take that. I was like, well, do it. That's what I intend to get. And let's see what happens. And this opportunity wouldn't have happened if I didn't know what I wanted in life. Long story short, we went back and forth. We got the property for less than $80,000. And it's 10 acres at the top of a mountain. We're looking down at the clouds. Literally, the clouds are below us. All my neighbors are retired Americans. They love it out there. We go at least once a year. It's an amazing place. It's actually the #1 place to retire in all the world in the last 3 years on multiple different big magazines and publications.
Well, I go down to Costa Rica frequently, and I've over the years, I've never bought any land down there, but man, I've been down there a bunch. And from Dallas, which is where I'm at, it's only about a little under 4 hours to fly into Liberia. Now, do you fly into San Jose or Liberia?
Yeah, San Jose. We fly out there, and then we can get a car or a bus. Well, most of the time a car, and it's just 2 hours to our little plot of land. One day we're going to build, and man, I'd love to have you out there. Go fishing, go surfing, take a little crazy jungle hike.
Hey man, you can't scare me with a good time. I promise you that. Well, I tell you what, it has been a great show. And just as we kind of wrap up, if you'll just share with us, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, let's go over those websites again. If they wanted to go ahead and get the book, I mean, it's a great value. How would they get your book? How would they get information on the visualization program that you have and the self-publishing? Just give us all those links real quick, and then how, if you're social, on Facebook or whatever.
For sure. I like to say my book is like a buffet. Literally, it's got some common practice and common knowledge in it, but sometimes common knowledge is not common practice. So I put it in a simple book, and it's visionstotopbook.com. If you're serious, you just want to get a copy, great. It's only like 99 cents on Kindle or $1.99. But it's a great book. And if you want to get on my list and just receive awesome emails and powerful, positive inspiration, it's visionstotop.com. I also give you several chapters for free from the book. And then if you want to write a book and you're curious, I'm literally put together a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and a 4 free video training series where it basically teach you everything you need to know to write a book. And that's selfpublishingpro.com/ambitious.
Fantastic, man. It was great to get to know you a little bit, and like I said, I've jotted down all these notes. I always, as part of my continuing education, it's the show prep, getting ready for the guest, it's doing the interview, and then going back through my show notes, putting them together, and so I can really absorb that information. So guys, if you liked what you heard, maybe you listened to it on the radio, but if you would like the full uncut version, always go to ambitiousradio.com. You can check out the show notes there. And Justin, thanks for your time, bud. I really appreciate it.
Doug, it was a pleasure. Thanks so much, buddy. Have a wonderful day. God bless.
You got it, man. You got it. So tune in on Saturdays to Ambitious Radio, where we interview thought leaders and exciting entrepreneurs changing the faces of their organizations. Remember, you can make money or you can make excuses, but you cannot make both. So go out there and be ambitious.
Thank you for listening to the Ambitious Radio Network, hosted by serial entrepreneur Doug Parker. Join us weekly as we have engaging conversations with ambitious entrepreneurs and thought leaders on topics that can be applied immediately after listening. Like what you've heard? Listen to other interviews at ambitiousradio.com or subscribe on iTunes.